from the Bada Bing, finest gentlemen's establishment all in Newark, New Jersey. We're coming at you today with episode number 21 of our PondCast, our spooky edition. As well, I, as ever, am gonna be your host, Yaku Zaku Cannoli. Joining me today with the big capo, Light V.I. Pisano. And we're gonna be produced by the boss over there, 16 SWAT Squats and Seki, Coroliola. How we doing? Gabagool over here.
What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome back. Fun fact: I had no idea that Yaku had dressed up. We were having a nice civil conversation, talking about Halloween, talking about movies, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna go live. We turn on our cams, and Yaku's looking like this. I was like, the hell's going on? What's happening? Oh yeah, that's Halloween. Dressed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But yes, welcome back and welcome everyone to another episode of the podcast. Happy Halloween, of course, as well. Hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. I mean, Halloween's almost over here in Australia, so with Singapore, but regardless, it's good to be here, good to be back, and
we're approaching
ready for
nighttime,
another.
and that's when it all begins.
Exactly.
Light, we need an answer. Did you get any trick or treaters?
Of course not. No, I've no. That's not a thing. That's just another thing. No trick or treaters. No. Thankfully, I would not have had anything to give them. I'd have to like give them like a Tim Tam each or something. I don't know.
Each?
But regardless, yes.
Unwrap Tim Tam?
Yes. I mean, what do you want from me? What am I gonna give them? What am I gonna give them? Oh god, I'll give them like some apples and a banana. There you go.
There you go. Instant noodles. There we go.
Oh no, I know they're mine. What do you mean? I'm not giving out packets of instant noodles. Oh my god, what am I gonna eat? But it's great to be back here. It's been quite a busy week as well. We went over all the patch notes and all the balance discussion last week. Now we've had the PTR tournaments.
Indeed, we have. Whew, looking forward to that. A little bit lighter to this week compared to last week, but like you said, so a lot of answers to be had over those PTR tournaments.
Oh yeah, for sure. As we can just jump right on in to our news of the week. We do have the PTR patch comparison video that was released by Gemini. So if you want to visually look, if you don't just want to read and go over all the details of the changes, Gemini has released a video showing off a lot of, if not all, of the changes in the PTR. So a nice kind of like visual representation of what's going on. I do appreciate it. It's really, really nice video that Gemini made.
Yeah, nice and thorough. Nice and thorough, and it just really shows off a lot more of the implications that we will be having here. Some of them were things that were just reading through the PTR notes. For instance, the disruptor change in the back of my mind. I was like, oh yeah, it will probably take more charges to kill something like a lurker or a group of ravagers, something like that. But actually seeing it in action makes me think like, oh yeah, that's going to be significant in tournaments.
Oh yeah. For sure. So you can, of course, use or go over to that video to have a look at all those changes. Likewise, very quickly, when it comes to the PTR change, actually, we'll go over it afterwards. But another big thing that, of course, has been going on over the past month is the Kickstarter for Good Luck, Have Fun, StarCraft Esports Legacy. Of course, Zombie Grub did begin this Kickstarter at the start of the month. We did talk about it. We did bring it up about how she is starting her own documentary series going over the history of StarCraft, and you still have a couple more days to support this endeavor.
I'm glad you reminded me now because I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot to go through my Kickstarter, but to determine what to get here. Yes, 4 more days left on the GLHF Kickstarter. If you would like to contribute a little bit more to that, I'm glad to see that we have already crossed that $20,000. Wait, let me double check this. I believe it was $20,000. Yep, $20,000 stretch goal to include a couple more interviews and a bit more content from the EU scene side of things. And Yeah, so a little bit more. If we can get everybody watching right now to just throw a little something more, maybe we'll get to that 30,000.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with what you said before. Is that I also it's in my mind, that this Kickstarter was going on, and I also have yet to back. I 100% will be backing it as well. So likewise, most likely after this podcast, I'll quickly go over all of the stretch goals, all of the rewards, and kind of pick one to go for. Yeah, definitely something worth supporting.
Yeah. I'll need to speak to my financial advisors. That's you two. That's the two of you.
Oh no. You're like, I want this,
right?
but I can't quite afford this if I want to keep living this month. So should I get it? We were like, no, Yako, no, you should just calm down and go for a lower goal. It's like, but
mug. It's a nice mug.
It is a nice mug.
Plus, I want to be able to walk around and call myself the biggest MMA fan.
True.
And I can't do that if I go lower,
Uh-huh. Oh, no. But yes, of course, be responsible with how you do pledge, but do consider it. Again, Zobrigub, for those who do not know, she has spent the last month in Korea. She'd already flown over. I think it was like the week of this Kickstarter going live. She'd already just flown over. She has already concluded a bunch of interviews. Of course, they're going to be edited and compiled together. And of course, there's going to be more content to come. So definitely worth considering, worth supporting if you are a fan of StarCraft. If you're interested in the history of StarCraft as well, then do consider it.
18 interviews in 14 days. That is...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I appreciate the update. And also, that sounds like a rush. I don't know how I'd be able to manage that.
Oh yeah, exactly. So she's definitely putting hard work into this project as well. So do consider it. Looking over at the pledges, I might go for the mug as well. The mug it's nice. It's a nice mug. Yeah. I've been using an Overwatch mug since whenever Overwatch released. But it could be time to update to something like this.
Yeah. I've been using the Home Story Cup 20 mug for about 2 months until my sister broke the handle.
Oh no! What happened? What did she do to the mug? What do you mean? Oh my god! Oh, that's so sad. This could be a worthwhile replacement. I always remember my biggest issue with the Blizzard store at the time, back when they were actually selling merchandise, is that they never had a StarCraft 2 mug. I say that they had a Heroes of the Storm mug, and I do have that,
but it's massive.
Yeah.
Way too big.
They technically had a StarCraft mug, but it wasn't too good. It had like...
It was a Legacy of the Void mug, I think. Or it was expansion specific and not like,
and all I wanted... I'll be honest, all I wanted was like race mugs, right? Like a Terran mug, like a Protoss mug, a Zerg mug. Like it's so... Yeah, it would be so simple. Just the logo and, maybe like a color scheme, and that's it. They never had that. So
logo, color scheme, optional adding text of saying like, probe tiers.
Yeah, well,
something like that.
Maybe it's a bit further, but like something simple would have been nice. Never really had it though, and this would be just a nice StarCraft related mug to have as well, potentially. Do consider supporting. Outside of that, we do have some other news coming in.
Yes.
We spoke about Streamer Zone, and we were curious if they were done when it came to their acquisitions. It looks like they might be done with their player acquisitions, but they've brought someone else back into the fold.
They did. Going back and really living up to their name. Grant has now joined Streamer Zone as a content creator.
Yeah, what a blast from the past. Grant, it's been many years since he has casted StarCraft or really been too engrossed in StarCraft. Did kind of step away, do his own thing. I know that Grant was very public with a lot of medical issues that he had. So I do think that he has since kind of been able to get through a lot of that, thankfully. And yeah, interesting to see a name that I haven't seen in a very, very long time now associated with StarCraft once again.
Yeah. And it feels like he'd never... Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like he never truly left. I mean, he was still pretty active within the community, still chatting a lot, still doing a lot of that stuff. But yeah, you're right when you say that he hasn't really casted something in quite a while. Ever since the legendary 2020 remote Katowice broadcast where his dog bit off the leg of his table or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of took that as a sign of God, and he was like, well, I also have all this health stuff I need to worry about, so.
It wasn't that extreme. It was, if I recall correctly, I think as he was casting, I think his dog was just chilling underneath the table, like asleep or something. And then as it got up, it just knocked over one of the legs, and it just everything crumbled and collapsed, and it was chaos. But you're not wrong. I think that's what he's most known for better or for worse. So yeah, it's really cool to see him back. And I mean, we still don't know if he's going to be casting. From the looks of it, he's going to be a manager. Is he going to start creating content again? Is he not? Still yet to be determined.
Oh, true. I just kind of assumed that he was going to be, creating content since that was his previous MO. But yeah, he's going to be the team manager for specifically the StarCraft 2 division.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see how far that goes and whether it does mean that he's willing to host tournaments, cast, maybe create some content with the players as well. There's definitely potential there. We'll keep an eye on Grant to see what comes of this.
Yeah. And since you did bring up potentially organizing tournaments, we know exactly that's going to be what we are going to be keeping our ears to the ground on.
For sure. When it comes to tournaments, of course, the big one on the horizon is Home Story Cup. It's been slow progress when it comes to the announced invites. I think last week we had 2-player invites. This week we have 1-player invite as well. So they're kind of like trickling them out over the next couple of weeks. We have confirmed that Laser's going to be using
it. Yes. Which again feels like Laser, kind of an obvious choice. He's been a mainstay in Home Story Cup for a while. He's been one of the absolute best European players as well. Very active in not just Poland, but I mean everywhere at this point.
For sure. I appreciate that he had a bit of fun with the announcement as well. It is known that Laser, he has not been playing a lot of StarCraft recently. In the tweet that he posted, he referred to the Infernal as he has been playing a lot of Stormgate. So Laser, he's a little bit maybe out of practice when it comes to SC2, but regardless, has been active. And you know what I'm curious about actually? Do we have the date for Home Story Cup?
We do.
Yeah, I would imagine it's going to be on the new patch, right?
Like I believe so. Wait, hold on. Take a look through here. Home Story Cup. Yeah, a couple of weeks from now, at the end of the month.
Yeah.
At the end of next month. So
end of next month,
the new patch will be out by then.
Yeah, it's going to be close. If you remember, we theorized that the patch would come out like maybe mid to late November, and if this event is at the start of December, there is a good chance that this will be on the new patch, which will be that much more exciting.
And I mean, if we're going to be that close to the patch, if it's going to be that close where there's genuinely a possibility that the patch will be rolled out to the live version anyway, I imagine they would play it all in the PTR anyway.
Yeah, just to have that much more fun and flair to the event. That's something we can get into once we get to the tournaments, just because a lot of events have started to actually play out on the PTR. But until then, keep your eyes open for those eventual player invites. Again, we're still waiting for Gooby Ho. Still waiting. Dennis?
Take.
To be fair, I don't know how much Take has to do with it, because I believe it's done by Bobo, right?
Dennis? Yeah, there you go. Look, I'm sure he has some sway in his own company.
Yeah. You think so?
I think so. As up next, we had an event over the weekend. We did reference it at the time, but during Sparkling Tuna Cup, we were missing some players because they were otherwise unavailable. The weekend, there was a big offline event in the UK.
Indeed, there was. Epic LAN did commence and did conclude over the course of just last weekend, and we do have a new champion. Their first time winning Epic LAN, and I'm terrified about this light. Gerald, already a contender for the King of Poland, is now also the current reigning king of the UK. That's terrifying to me.
There you go. Geralt, he does end up flying across the world, across countries here to compete in the UK, compete in Epic Land. As you mentioned, it was his first event. It was announced beforehand that he was going to the event, and I know that Eba was training and practicing specifically for Geralt, but they never played. They never did play in the end. They never hit each other. Instead, we did have some other competitors that kind of stood in Eba's way.
Indeed, we did, and I gotta say, I feel like Geralt's lucky they never faced Eva, because looking at all of the other Protoss players that he did face here, I had a very close series against Zane. I truly lost to Zane in the upper quarterfinals. In the upper quarterfinals, but did get his revenge, taking him out 2-0 in the lower semifinals. Also took out Patty Mac before that.
Yeah. Paddy Mac also traveled to the UK. Lorimbo traveled to the UK as well. He also showed up.
Eba. That's fitting.
Let's go. So really cool to see some international representation at this event. As we did mention, Geralt, he didn't drop a single map making it to the grand finals. A big win for Geralt. But as you mentioned as well, he was lucky enough to avoid Eba. As you mentioned, even though Eba went down to Zane in an ace match, he did wreak havoc in the lower half of the bracket, did go down in the ZVZ to Risky, and also it's very possible that Eba could have been stopped in the upper semifinals against Risky as well, so it did fall in the ZVZs, and was never able to face off against his rival in Geralt.
Unlucky.
Unfortunate there. But it was really cool to see that this offline event did garner as much attention as it did, whether it comes to international representation or even some of the local talent. We had Zane, we had Raza coming out, Raza who's now a Paki, who now has a family, he's a dad now, he's married, he has a wife and kids, and still showing up here to compete. It's really cool.
It's got to bring the kid in here early on.
True. Yeah.
Get him to absorb the osmosis.
Absorb the osmosis.
Look,
I get what you're saying. Indoctrinate them,
indoctrinate your kids
early on. Exactly. Yeah. That's what you want to do.
Gotta get them to You gotta get them to understand why why Protoss needs to be nerfed forever.
Exactly. Needs to be done early on, and hopefully Razzle was able to accomplish that.
Yeah. Speaking of nerfing Protoss forever, I do like that Geralt had a little bit of fun with his tweet as well when when it was announced that he was the winner. Can't believe I've won more lands this year than every other Protoss player combined, which is it is factually true. Between Epic Land and not Cova Giants, the other one, House Galactic Battles. Geralt's won quite a few more offline events than I think most Protoss players in the past year.
Yeah, I think most is the correct term, because if you recall, Christiana won Galactic Battle earlier this year. So there've been some other LAN Protoss champions as well. But Geralt, he's definitely up there. He's up there.
Yeah. So literally, won more offline events than every other Protoss player combined in 2024.
There you go. There you go. So congratulations to Geralt, of course, for competing, for winning. Likewise, and also I'm sure we'll be seeing some more Epic Lands in the future. Again, this is Epic Land 43. They've been so consistent with hosting these events multiple times a year. So it's really cool that they keep this going. That obviously it's successful in that aspect at least as well. They've been able to host this for so long. So I'm sure they will continue to host it for many more years to come.
Yeah.
For sure.
If they don't, then that's a sign that something has gone very wrong over in the Isles.
For sure. Also, I did want to give a shout out to Risky as well, because Risky, for the most part, is a retired player, and despite that, he did quite well for himself, coming second place.
Yeah, managed to get his revenge on Eba from a couple of hands back.
True. Yeah, did bring Eba down. So very, very impressive stuff there out of Risky. Meanwhile, heading on over to some of our amateur tournaments, we have the Magic Cup Masters Cup number 109. Again, this is a sister tournament to Master Swan Open, so it is an event that is MMR locked to certain MMR ranges. I believe 4.8k MMR and lower, or maybe even a little bit more than that.
A little bit
And
higher
we
than
have
that,
our champion.
Yeah. Indeed, we did. Ares coming up on top once again. Ares, I would say semi-pro, coming out from Brazil. Was a big name in the past. Took a little bit of a step back a couple of years ago, but now he is coming back into the game, and he's getting back in form pretty quickly.
Yeah, he is getting back in form. He took down Fletch twice in this event, took down Wiseman. Again, a lot of our regulars are competing here. Captain Britain, Mantega, Fletch, Patches, Medic Jr. So really cool to see the regulars rocking back up in this tournament. As you mentioned, it has been improving a lot over the years, is also quite prevalent in the Brazilian scene. So really cool to see his slow rate of progression as well. And yes, as you mentioned, it's 4.9k MMR and below.
And there we go.
Here we go. Up next, we had Soon Super Tournament number 2, the second one. I think we did feature the first Super Tournament not too long ago, and already we have number 2.
Yeah, that was quick. It's almost like this is a regular weekly thing.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Yeah, it looks like it might turn into a monthly. It's hard to say, right? Like the first Super Tournament was back in mid-September, and now we're at the end of October, so might be a monthly event, maybe not. We'll see if we get another Soon event soon.
TM. Man, nice to see the players who compete in this. Won by a player who I'm personally not too familiar with, but apparently they do play for Hasu players, or previously used to play for Hasu players. Zardiant, Terran player from the land of Russia. Oh, apparently they're a mech enthusiast. So I was excited. I was excited to see a new name, but I have to scrutinize that a little more now.
I mean, it
isn't to see a rising Terran player, but
no.
Mech enthusiast? I don't know about that.
He's a fake Terran player. Oh no. But impressive win nonetheless. He takes down Inexorable. He takes down No Money as well. I am unfamiliar with Drone Hard. Unfamiliar with him, but for Drone Hard to have defeated Cobblestone and Gref is quite impressive. So very nicely done here for Zardiant to make it through. I think we have casted Zardiant once in the past. Again, he's a more active player in the CIS region. So cool to see that he's just becoming more active. And maybe we'll be tempted to branch out and play something other than just mech. Maybe.
Yeah. We'll be keeping our eyes on them.
There you go.
Hopefully.
We will.
We will be keeping our eyes on them so that one day, when he does play something other than mech, we'll be the ones to cast it.
Yeah. We'll let you know. We'll be there. But a shout out to Soon for hosting the event, right? As you kind of alluded to, like this is becoming maybe a regular thing. I mean, we've only had 2 editions so far. If we get 3, then hey, we start a trend and maybe it keeps on going. I don't know if Soon has kind of been vocal or has specified whether or not it is going to be a more regular event. But regardless, 2 events already, big shout out to Soon.
Yeah. It's been helping a lot when it comes to organizing a lot of the more regional and German tournaments, and like I said, it's nice that he is now also hosting his own, or organizing one where he is not just helping out in the organization, but, is the one final decision maker.
Yeah. Much love to Soon, of course, a German Terran player. Meanwhile, heading on over, we have the Passion Craft. Again, the Passion Craft is going to last for an entire month. So we will be giving you some updates from week to week. And we do have a bunch of rounds, a bunch of results coming in the group stage.
Yeah, slowly but surely. As, again, the players in Passion Craft do schedule their matches amongst each other, and it is a round robin, and already we do have a couple of players being knocked out. Captain Fish, who is a player who we featured a couple of times in some of our amateur events, is going to be eliminated in the group stage here from Group A, and also Kret, a Zerg player who I'm not too familiar with. Also, unfortunately, yeah, it looks like they're going to be knocked out here.
Yeah, it's still, the brackets are still kind of shaping out and there's still, morphing before us. There's still so many more games to be played. But as you mentioned, a couple of players are already being eliminated. There are some others that are rising towards the top as well. So, we're getting a bit of a better idea of who will make it through and who won't. Our eyes are definitely on some of the fan favorites. Gemini is in the middle of his group, Ryojin toward the bottom, but I think Ryojin has only played one series. So it's hard to tell you where he will end up towards the end.
Yeah. Sal over here, kind of in the middle of the group, as well as Magnef, no money, currently at the top of Group D, but special shout out to Kinpatch, or Kinpak, here in Group C, random player, currently at the top of the group. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, very impressive to be random, to be at the top, and to be, at least for me, a bit of a lesser known player. So yeah, very impressive stuff. He will most likely make it out of the group. Whether it's in first place or not, yet to be determined, but he's looking good.
Yeah, and as a random player.
Yeah. Really nice to see. And again,
does have a bit of a gauntlet of Terran up ahead of him, though. Going to be facing Flexi, Sal, Huppatry Zelda, and Gusty. Flexi got away with that. But yeah, seems to be doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, for sure. We'll keep you guys updated on the Passion Craft, on the eventual morphing of the bracket as well. We will get there. Meanwhile, shout out to Patches. We saw Patches competing earlier in the Magic Up Masters Cup, and he has been hosting his own events as well. This is the Patches 6K Open number 6.
Yeah, open to players of 6K MMR and below, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, which means 6K is quite high. It does mean that some of the pro players are going to be getting involved as well. Because of that, we have these more well-known players. We have Eon, Mixu, Baby Marine, Akedon as well, and many others. So yeah, some pretty big names are facing off here, and I am very surprised and very impressed. It was not an easy road, but Scandicane comes out and wins the entire thing.
Yeah, Scandicane, who we were just introduced to, I think, like 2 podcasts ago or something like that. Somebody who we weren't too familiar with, but yeah, it looks like he is going to be here to stay. He wins the whole thing, coming out at the top, or coming in from the upper bracket, beating Akeron, beating Mixu in the grand finals as well, beating Hanmono, beating Rodson.
Yeah,
really ran through a gauntlet of pretty much every matchup, and yeah, came out on top. They were very tough fought from what I can see here. All of them going to the ace match, but in the end, he came out ahead.
As you're saying, like, these are some well-known pros. Like, he took down people that get paid to play this game. He took down Mixu, Akedon, Homono, Rodzen. Like these are very, very impressive wins here for Scandicane. And Scandicane doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Like, he's not a very known player, and we only took notice of him a couple of weeks ago, as you mentioned. So he's very unknown. I'm unfamiliar with how long he has been playing. I'm sure he has been, maybe he's just been a ladder hero for a long time, and maybe kind of like Moja, he decided not to compete for a long time as well until recently. So yeah, really, really curious. It's definitely a name that is that I'm keeping my eye on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll get to more updates, or hopefully we'll get more information as they do become more well-known, and potentially as they keep on winning. And they seem to be on a bit of a roll these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I'm looking into him a little bit here, and looks like he has been active this year, but not really much before this year. So yeah, someone that at least from what I can tell, didn't really invest too heavily into the game until relatively recently. So really impressive rate of improvement. If anyone knows a little bit more about Scandicane as well, we would love to learn about him. And yeah, GG.
Oh. Very nicely done.
There you go. But with that, we do have our next event, the FSL, the Family Star League.
Indeed, and as we were mentioning or as we mentioned, I think every week in the podcast, this is going to be one of the slower moving tournaments. But as the old fable goes, the hares come out on. They go fast.
Yeah.
Angry Space Hares is our first confirmed team going into the playoffs. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, speeding their way through the bracket, maybe is what you want to say. The Angry Space Hares, yeah, they do kind of blaze their way through. They do confirm their spot in the semifinals in the bracket stage, but we've yet to determine who will not.
Yeah, as a reminder, there are 5 teams, and only one of them will be eliminated in the group stage. We do want to have a little bit of a tenser, perhaps a little bit of a longer playoff stage here as well. So yes, that is still very much in contention. Cheesy Nachos currently at the bottom of the pack, but there's still a very real possibility, if they start winning their next couple of matches, there's a very real chance for them to escape that and make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the important thing to take note of is that the other teams only have 1 win each, right? Like the other teams only have. So all it takes is 1 win from Cheesy Nachos to kind of be tied with some of these other teams and make their way through into the top 4. So it's still very neck and neck amongst the other teams out there.
Yeah, they literally need just 1 win, which is good because they only have 1 match remaining. They only have 1 match remaining, and it is against the Angry Space Hares, though. So,
no. I mean, that'd be.
There's a chance if they beat the Angry Space Hares, and if one of these other teams like Infinite Cyclists, Infinite Cyclists that have 2 matches remaining, or Rage's Raiders who have 2 matches remaining, or PTB Pull the Boys who have 2 matches remaining. Look,
yeah, it's possible. The math could work.
Yeah, could work out.
Okay, so best of luck to Cheesy Nachos and the rest of the teams in the FSL. With that, we can now. Huh?
And I was just going to point out that it's also important to note that for Cheesy Nachos, they are bottom because of their series score, but map score, they're actually pretty close to the next team over, Infinite Cyclists. So there's a possibility for them if everything aligns and goes in their favor.
Yeah. They have a chance. They have a chance. Best of luck to the Cheesy Nachos. As we head on over to the Infinite League number 2, it looks like the group stage has concluded. For those who do not know, this is the Polish kind of amateur fun team league that is currently taking place. There was a draft. There was just a fun format to actually create and bring the teams together. And we have confirmation of who have made it and who have not into the semifinals.
Indeed, we do. Armati Chizno, otherwise known as Chizno FC, have made it at the top of the group. That's the team captained by Rodson. And as a result, they will be waiting in those grand finals. Meanwhile, Kowalski's Crabs did get eliminated in this group stage, so they will not... just get eliminated, and they will not be continuing. That was the team that was captained by Jomek and also had Indy as one of their bigger names, which does also mean that Burj Bramkirch, otherwise known as Bramkirch SC, that was the team that has the unholy alliance of Terran Gerald and Zer Christianer, is going to be facing off against Duo, otherwise known as Team Birds, as well as the team who won the previous season of Infolet Team League, captained by Art, and also features Papi as one of their heavy hitters. They're going to be facing up against to see which one of those teams will face up against Armati Chizno.
There you go. So we have our confirmed teams in the semifinals and our confirmed seeding for the rest of the event as well. As you mentioned, I do look forward to seeing the unholy alliance of Cristiano and Geralt with their off races alongside Snockstar. I do think they have a lot of potential as a team. But as we have seen from some of these other big heavy hitters, I mean, whether it's Rodzin's team with Angry and Mishu, whether it's the OB team with Bappy and Arts. It's some tough competition.
Yeah, I think we went through week 1 and week 2 the last time we had the PondCast, and yeah, week 3 was the one that we didn't quite have, that we weren't quite updated on, and yeah, Team Armati coming in strong. 2v2 of Angry and Mishu was able to take out the 2v2 team of Geomol and Geomek. Very impressive stuff.
Yeah. Is really impressive, and we'll see how well they can perform in those playoffs. Best of luck. That's going to be in 3 days. It's going to be 3 days time.
Yep. I misread that somehow. I thought Kakperos beat Geomek, but I mean, he still won a series against Killaby Cast, but I misread something. I was like, ooh, Kakperos popping off.
It's all good. Still did get a win for his team. Still did. With that, meanwhile, we have another new event, the first edition in maybe a series. It is the Rookie Warpgate Patch Test Tournament #1.
Indeed, and yep, I looked at that name and I was like, this is a Chinese tournament, and it is.
There you go. There you go, and it looks like it actually hasn't concluded. We do have a set end date on the 3rd of November, so they've played out at least all the other matches.
Yeah, it's pretty much just the finals that has yet to be played. Wonder of You, Terran player who I'm not too familiar with, going up against Drink, a Protoss player who we've actually had the fortune to cast once or twice.
Yeah, we have Drink taking down Satori, as well as many others to make it to those semifinals, to the grand finals. What's interesting is it looks like, look at the note here under the participants table. Due to Pioneer's fear of Drink, the organizers decided that Wonder of You would replace Pioneer in the finals instead. So I was curious as to why the name was a little bit different, but yeah, we have an update there. There you go. He's afraid to drink.
Apparently. And that's why they had to delay the finals.
Yeah. There you go. So there's clearly some backstory here. There's some drama. There's some lore behind some of these decisions. I'm sure.
I'm not sure how much drama it is, so much as it is just he's afraid of him. What did he do?
Yeah.
How did he
exactly? What did he do? That's the drama.
Like,
oh my god. So yeah, kind of interesting, but regardless, I do wish them both the best of luck. And clearly, this is going to be played on the new patch, or on the PTR, I should say. So yeah, it's always a good thing to just have more events on the PTR to test, to confirm, and to just get more data on what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess we'll get into it as we go through, but it is good to see that we're having a lot more responses to the PTR patches so far, as Mana has pointed out.
Yeah, up next we do have the Chicken King Team League 2024 Fall, which has been taking place. We've been going over the round robin results over the past couple of weeks, and we're nearing the end. I say nearing the end. There's still a couple more rounds ahead of us, but this week we had round 5.
Yeah, so things are starting to consolidate, solidify. Coalesce, there we go. As we don't have any teams confirmed to be making it through or confirmed to be eliminated, but we can make some pretty strong assumptions based on the score right now and any upcoming matches.
Yeah, we had some interesting results coming in. Starlight Twinkle, they just took down Toho Project 6-0. Very strong result from Starlight Twinkle. I mentioned before that again, it's on them to try to bounce back after a very rough week 1 because of the forfeits. Meanwhile, we had Little Fairy. They did pop off against Team Hist. What I will say, though, very interesting result, is that Kingslayer and Shameless, they did go 1-1. These are best of 2s. We have casted players, Kingslayer in the past, and he is one of the rising talents in the Chinese scene. So really impressive to see that he tied against Shameless. Wasn't enough to bring it back for his team, but it was enough to put a point on the board.
Yeah. And as we're getting towards the end here, every little bit of map score, can count. You know, it can be that literally one map that determines whether you're eliminated or whether you make it through.
Oh yeah, exactly. Every map score does count. An interesting result to me here, actually, a couple of interesting results. Coming into this, looking at Hiss versus Little Fairy this week again. TATP, if you remember, we were praising him because he's a bit of a more well-known player, and he was actually the winner, the champion of the collegiate, the collegiate event that they were hosting. That we went over last week. He did go down 2-0 to Ear. I'm very unfamiliar with him. I have no idea who Ear is. So that's quite impressive.
Yeah. Interesting result there. Hopefully we can get our hands on replay.
Yeah. Get our hands on the Ear.
Oh, we can hear what went on
Sure.
there.
Yeah, so I'll definitely keep my eye on him. It's really cool to see Little Fairy. They're not just fielding their big names, but some of their lesser known players as well, to give them a chance, give them an opportunity to compete. Likewise, another really interesting result was PCEC versus ASTT. Moja versus Latte. We spoke about it, about how Moja was looking for a team. Then he joined PCEC. We did assume that it was for this. Yeah, we assumed that it was for this team league, but he did go down to Latte, and that is a Zerg player that I'm not familiar with, but he does have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, seems to be very active when it comes to a lot of the Chinese regionals. Plays quite a bit in the Sunrise Cup and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once again, interesting results here.
Yeah, definitely a Zerg player to keep an eye on. I mean, hey, if you can 2-0 Moja, like that is impressive.
He seems to have a little bit of a rivalry of coffee here, just looking at past results.
Yeah,
which is fitting, I have to say.
For sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's been very active in specifically the Sunrise Cups as well, so really cool to see, and definitely a player that I'll try to keep in the back of my mind when it comes to covering some of these regionals as well. So yeah, just a lot of results coming in. There's still 2 weeks left for this Chicken King Team League, so we'll keep you guys updated, as the next round is in 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, the round after that, though, it's going to feature SLT versus Little Fairy.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, but a potential finals match there, basically. So, yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on those rounds. Up next, we do have the Chicken King, not Team League, but the Chicken King Cup.
Indeed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe this is the... Yeah, this wasn't the one that we were speculating on. That got delayed a little while. It looks like this one was all played in one day.
Yeah, it was all played out in one day. We did have some big names joining in once again. Players like Jolo Loves, players like Nanami, Chiaki as well. Number did all compete. But we did have a bit of a lesser known player take it all in the end. There was a walkover over Joliwa, unfortunately. There was that walkover, but he did take down Nanami 3-1.
Yeah. Good old... I think that translates to Gord.
No. Gord?
Gord? Gord?
Hold
yeah,
on.
Gord.
Hold on.
I think that's what it translates to.
You're saying that with a lot of confidence, which makes me concerned. You're like, yeah, it's Gord.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Gord.
I just put this in Google Translate. It translates to Kerrigan.
Yeah, Gord. That was her name, right?
Uh-huh.
That was her first name, Gordy Kerrigan.
Uh-huh.
LaForge.
So translates. So apparently there's a Terran player called Kerrigan out there. Interesting.
I think we actually did mention this last week. I do remember this. Yeah.
So our apologies if we did forget about Terran Kerrigan, but might be related to... No, actually. Yeah. Good thing that you said that. I just checked. He was last Chicken King's champion from Chicken King number 3.
Yeah.
Back to back. Yeah.
Queen of Chickens. Coming out here. Or
They-
Chicken of Blades.
There you go. Interesting. So 2 weeks in a row, Kerrigan has been taking the win here. And again, we are generally quite familiar with the Chinese scene, as just because we've been casting a lot of the regionals for a long time and casting a lot of these Chinese events. But yeah, this is a player that we are still very much so unfamiliar with. So for them to win 2 weeks in a row, last week it was against Oriana, this week it was against Nanami. Really impressive.
Oof.
Damn.
Yeah. Next week, Jolly Wallubs, maybe. We have that
Maybe.
Silky. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Definitely a player to keep an eye on. Definitely. We'll try to remember a little bit more when seeing these Chinese characters. That okay, that's Chinese. That's I should say Terran Kerrigan.
Yes. Well,
Maybe related to the Zerg Rainer.
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe
They were swapped at birth.
there's gonna be like a dramatic love affair between Rainer and Kerrigan once again. Oh no.
And then Zeratul shows up. And it's like, you have to let go of your... See, here's the problem, though. The Zeratul in this situation would be Protoss.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It should be Protoss Kerrigan. So that
True.
we can have Terran Zeratul.
Yeah, they messed up. They need to leave room for Protoss as well. Yeah. Not wrong. But regardless, congratulations to Kerrigan. Switching on over, we do have the Leo League Cup number 27, which was more of a show match series here. Interesting, no bracket, just a round robin group stage basically between 4 players.
Yeah. Oliveira, as always, did get featured in this Leo League Cup. Hero as well, making a little bit of a return from last week's kind of show match coming in here, but also featuring Nightmare and Shin.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate. You know what? I'd like to think that the organizers of the Leo League Cup, they heard our criticism of their graphics last week.
I was gonna say I can't find anything wrong with this graphic.
I mean, there's things wrong with it, but it's better. It's definitely better. It's an improvement.
Yeah. I mean, there's a slight clipping issue with Hero's collar, but other than that, it's fine.
It's look, the monstrosity that we saw last week. Like, you could do better than that, which is saying something. I mean,
well, here's the thing: there was artistic charm to what we saw last week.
No shot. For those that don't know, it was Lulu Cup number 26, which was featuring an image by Hero, which was
Hero versus Oliveira, which
and Kuro, you should actually just show it on screen right now, because it was the way that they cut it to paste Hero on the graphic was done in a diabolical fashion. It was crazy.
Also, they used a picture from his Dragon Phoenix gaming days, and then they MS painted over the Dragon Phoenix logo and just
yep
typed in WBG. I liked it. I approved of it.
God damn it. So I do appreciate this. I mean, obviously there are some lighting issues. It's kind of weird. Why is one player in the middle blue and no one else is? But it's fine. It's better.
They had to work with what they had. So, you know.
Yeah. It's fine. It's
better. Speaking of better, Hero comes out. Well, I mean, he did also win last. Wait. No, he didn't. He lost last week, as that was the off-race show match between Hero and Oliveira. Oliveira playing Protoss and Hero playing Terran. Oliveira coming out on top in that one, but it did go all the way to the ace match this week, though. Playing the main races, Hero allowed to play Protoss, ended up coming out on top, although did drop a map to... He off-raced against Nightmare. That's why he dropped the map.
Let's go. I mean, clearly Hero, he was afraid of Nightmare's PvP. Clearly. True. So did decide to off-race, and Nightmare did punish Hero for that, for off-racing. Hero did take a game, but Nightmare did take the series. But as you mentioned, congratulations to Hero for coming out on top. It was very close, as you can see, when it comes to the overall score line. 3 ties. We had Hero, Shin, and Nightmare that had 2 wins and 1 loss. Did come down to the map score.
Yes, very much indeed. And with a little bit of a 2-0 over Oliveira and Shin, Hero takes the cheeky #1 spot.
Yeah, it was a much more dominant showing out of Hero. The others did drop extra maps.
I feel like there was a little bit of resentment left over from last week's show match. I mean, I didn't get to see the games. I don't know what went on here in the best of 3 between Hero and Oliveira, but looking at that 2-0, and I would normally expect a player like Oliveira to take it to the ace match against Hero, but
Mhm.
I feel like maybe there was some leftover resentment last week. Either that,
Exactly.
or now Hero understands Terran better, and so now he's going to be unstoppable in PBT.
Really, he understands Protoss better, after being shown how to
True.
play by Oliveira. He he has since been enlightened, and with that has been powered up. So congratulations to Hero, shout out to Shin, Aimer, and Oliveira as well, as these were still very close matches and very close series. It is always great to see these Luli Showmatch Cups brought together, and again, sometimes having some more fun formats like the off race that we saw previously, or this just round robin group as well. It's nice to see just different formats.
Yeah. A little bit of variety here and there.
Definitely. As we head on over to the Sunrise Cup number 182, we were referencing it earlier. This is a very regular weekly event for the Chinese region, for the Chinese scene, and we do have our champion this week, a Zerg player that I am not too familiar with. This is not the Chinese. This is not the Terran Kerrigan. Not
Winter
quite.
Melon.
Oh.
Oh no, I think
Uh-huh.
Winter Melon Tea. Is what I associate at least the first character of that name with.
Uh-huh. Okay. To me, it's translating to a kind of deer. But I don't.
deer.
not too
Oh
certain.
yeah, Tsukino. Wait, that's Japanese. So I'll translate it. What is in Chinese? Simplified. Sukia deer.
Yeah, and apparently his
Who
opponents.
actually was? Who we actually did talk about last week a little bit. Starting to remember now. His opponent, the first letter is Ox.
He's a fox. That's what I was gonna say.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Ox, fox.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, you one letter off. It's all good. It's all good. At least according to Google Translate, apparently he's a fox, millennial fox. Even.
Oof.
I should say Millennium Fox.
Oh,
there we go.
okay.
But
Let's make it a little bit better.
yeah, it does. But regardless, congratulations here to our lovely Zerg Deer, taking down Oriana 2-0 and winning in the grand finals as well. Again, these are some of these players that we're a little bit less familiar with, but I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
We've been talking, I feel like this is something that we brought up over the past couple of weeks, especially when it comes to some of these Sunrise Cups and other Chinese events. We're becoming less and less familiar with some of these players that are placing higher, which means, hey, we've got kind of newer faces that are improving, that are getting better, and that are contending against some of the old guard.
Yeah. As you see, again, a lot of effort being put in on kind of more the grassroots organizing from the Chinese region. I think Oliveira's IEM win really bolstered a lot of confidence in a lot of young, and just a lot of young StarCraft fans over there. And obviously SC Boy been putting in that work and really fostering SC Boy and, a lot of the other organizers really putting in a lot of work to try to foster rising talent here.
Yeah, exactly. Like it goes two ways, right? Where you have players like Oliveira that can inspire players to compete, to improve, and then you have the tournament organizers, whether they are organizers like SC Boy or organizers like SLT or Little Fairy, who provide the environment for them to actually compete, to take part, and to improve as well. So they're working hand in hand, and yeah, it's been really cool to see the rate of improvement of a lot of these lesser known players.
I'll also say that looking at this bracket, I do have one name over here, Smile, Hazard player. Are we gonna have another Silky situation? Is Chinese Smile gonna have to play against he's American, right? He has a Smile.
Peruvian
Smile, there we go. Is Chinese Smile gonna have to play against Peruvian? Look.
His emotes are llamas, Yaku. They're llamas.
That side of the world, look, it gets cold there. It's north.
Yeah.
So
don't forget, according to Yaku, Brazil is in Europe.
It's right next to Europe.
It's next to the Netherlands.
It's next to Europe.
Yeah. God damn. But I would say that Smile has an out because remember, like he also ID changed from Fuego. Like he was Fuego, then Smile, then Fuego, then Smile. So
Is
I
it
think
an
I think
out
he
or
has
is it
an
more? Is it an out or is it more of a if he loses then he has to change
yeah
back to Fuego?
yeah that's his out. Yeah,
Is it?
he.
Does he want to be Fuego again?
I will find out. We'll find out. We'll make him play. Oh. So yeah, that was this week's Sunrise Cup. Scrolling on over, we have the Fire Grow Cup at number 3, which did take place. Again, this is a weekend event hosted and organized by Mindle VK. And it
Oh,
does, of course, focus on the CIS region.
yeah, nice to see Mindle VK kind of giving back to, kind of giving back to the scene here. Mindle VK, who was somebody who I kind of tapped to be one of the rising stars from that CIS region, especially when he made his debut and had a fairly deep run in DreamHack 2021, or yeah, so no, it was still DreamHack Masters back in 2021, the EU region,
Mhm.
and hasn't been super active as a player after that. But yeah, it's good to see that he is kind of organizing some events of his own now.
Yeah, he's been streaming a lot as well. Like Minnow VK has been streaming a lot more. He's been casting a little bit, and as you mentioned, organizing his own tournament. So it's really cool to see that this event has been continuing. It was a 3-day long event, 1 day for Group A, 1 day for Group B, and then the final day for the playoff brackets. A lot of matches. You can see that the group stage was round robin with a lot of players. So many matches were played out. It's too much to go into individually, but regardless, we did have some interesting results here. What I will say is I am surprised that Nickrat did not make it out of the group stage. He had a bit of a harder time in those best of twos.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there. I have to wonder what. I have to wonder what really went on. I see a lot of ties here for Nicoract, so
Yeah.
yeah, that really can mess up a little bit when it comes to the map, because this is going purely by map score. When you're going for a 2v2 format like that, you're not really looking at series wins. You're looking purely at map score. And previously, somebody who, if you are going all the way to the ace match in the group stage in something like a best of 3, I would imagine Nicoract would be able to come out on top. But in a best of 2, you can pull out something a little bit cheekier. You can, pull out something to catch your opponent off guard, and I would imagine that's kind of what happened here.
100%. Like, honestly, if these were best of 3s, I can see Nickrat beating Power 100% and beating GG Machine as well. I do favor Nickrat against both those players, but because of the best of 2 format, it was tied 1-1. He got ties instead of wins, and that does hinder him as well. But a big result that surprised me in that group stage for Nickrat was the 2-0 loss to Replicant. Replicant, he's a good player. He has been improving, but I do still rate him lower than Nickrat here. So for Replicant to advance on instead of Nickrat, that is crazy.
Replicant, who also had to give a walkover win to GG Machine in the first round. That's pretty impressive for him. He was already playing with a little bit of a handicap, or I guess not so much playing with a handicap, but rather had a little bit of an uphill battle right from the very beginning, and just was able to edge it out here in that by winning the TVT against Nicoract. Again, if that went 1-1, then it would have been 5-5 both ways, and we would have had to go to a tiebreaker, I imagine, after that. But
yeah,
because Replicant was able to get the 2-0 against him there, and then go 1-1 in most of his other series, he also won 2-0 against Art. He was just able to edge out here in the group stage.
Yeah, so a bit of an underperformance by Nickrat here and an overperformance by Replicant in the group stage, so very impressive. I'm definitely going to be kind of like filing this away when it comes to results for Replicant to see if he does continue this rate of improvement, just because I would say that he was more of an underdog coming into this group stage.
And on top of that, going into the playoffs, he went all the way to the ace match against Wayne, who ended up winning the whole damn thing. So, this looked like it really could have been Replicant's day if just a couple of things went differently.
Yeah, so really impressive stuff there by Replicant. As you mentioned, coming into the playoff bracket, we had GG Machine defeating Nikic, also into the ace match. Honestly, looking at this, a lot of these series did go all the way to that ace. So, I mean, a lot of these results could have gone either direction here. We have been praising Nikic a lot more recently, so for GG Machine to bring him down in the ZVZ is very impressive. In the end, he goes down to Shameless. Shameless is the player that we have been praising as of late. Shameless making it all the way to the grand finals. And Wayne did not have an easy road to the finals either. He also went to the ace match against Strange on the way to the finals.
Yeah, Strange, one of the rising Protoss players from the CIS region, went all the way to the ace match against Wayne, but it looked like that was enough to kind of warm Wayne up. As the series against Shameless, who himself is no slouch. I feel like we've been praising Shameless a lot in these past couple of podcasts. He's been winning a lot of the more regional weeklies, but does fall in the end to Wayne, otherwise known as Vanya, otherwise known as Ratata.
There you go. But I do think this is a really important win as well. Like, it's not necessarily the biggest tournament, but for Wayne to get a win here, I think he's been kind of floating under the radar, or maybe just underperforming recently. We've been covering a lot of events over the past month in the CIS region, and we've been seeing, Shameless performing better, or Young Yakov performing better, Nikic as well. Like, I feel like Wayne has recently been overshadowed by a lot of these other players, which is a bit of a shame, because I feel like for a long time Wayne, he's been one of the best Zerg players in Europe, right? Like, when I think of top 4 Zerg, like right behind your Laser, your Lambo, your Raynor, your Cyril, I should say top 5, that's where I would place Wayne as that top 5 player. But again, recently, like, it feels like he has either been struggling a little bit more, or maybe just taking a break in the off season and hasn't been practicing as much these past couple of months.
Yeah, it was pretty hard to place. I would say rather was pretty hard to place Wayne's form in these past couple of weeks, just because, like you said, seemed like he was taking a bit of a break in the off season. But yeah, he shows up in Fire Grow Cup and once again proves that he still got it.
Yeah. So GG. Well played here by Wayne. He does once again get a win here, kind of bouncing back on his feet, and we'll see if that is going to be a bit of a trend of things to come. Heading on over, we have the Basilisk Big Brain Bounce number 73, our show match series. Usually we have a bit of a theme coming into these show matches. This week I'm a little bit less certain, as there was it was a little bit more chaotic here. I don't know if there was necessarily anything too thematic coming into this.
So we have
trying to connect the dots.
Yeah, so we have our Polish battle as our main event. Roscoe, he's from Scotland.
Oh no, yeah. Sorry. The theme. How could I not see it? It's the Epic Land boys. Patty Mac and Gerald were at Epic Land.
True.
Yeah. Alongside
Patty
the
Mac
other
and
UK
Gerald, Roscoe, and it was Epic Land versus the world. Except the main event was an Epic Land player against a world player, and they're both from Poland.
Yeah.
You love to see it. Okay, there we go.
Let's go. We got there in the end. But yeah, so that's really cool that it's in line with what was happening over the weekend with Epic Land. So again, Patty Mac and Geralt did travel to Epic Land to compete there, and in the end, Patty Mac takes down Deka 3-2. So very impressive to go all the way to the ace match.
And that was the only series that wasn't a clean sweep, and it was a reverse sweep. So thanks, Patty Mac. Once again, Patty Mac coming in clutch and providing the exciting series for us.
Yeah, he does provide the series here for the entire event. We should also emphasize as well that I believe, this was played out in the PTR, and this is also played on the new maps as well. That's why we see, Whispers of Gold, Ultra Love, Snowpiercer, Amygdala, Ley Lines as well. So all these newer maps on the new patch that may have influenced a couple of things here, but really impressive that a Laser, despite being a little bit out of practice, despite playing a lot of Stormgate, still gets a 3-year.
In the end, though, it was a tie between Epic Land versus the World. Patty Mac and Roscoe, repping Epic Land, won their series, but unfortunately, for Epic Land, Doomrat and Laser, repping the World, ended up winning theirs. So,
tie. There you go.
Tie.
Epic Land equals the World.
There we go. And that's true,
Or
because you know what? Geralt,
uh-huh.
he's won Poland and he's won the UK, so.
The world or Europe, depending on how you want to kind of
Well,
place it.
or China, considering how much time Patty Mac has spent in Beijing.
True. There you go. Regardless, congratulations to those winning players. I do recommend checking out some of these show matches just because they are on the PTR and they are on the new map pool as well. So definitely a lot of value to be gained when it comes to looking at those events. Heading on over, we do have the Super Sevens show matches number 16.
Yes, Kuro's number, but also, what a result here coming in. So, our show match this week was Classic versus Shin, and it's not like last week's Luli Cup or anything like that. No. It was played, at least on the current map pool. I'm not too sure if it was in the PTR patch or if it's the current patch, but when you look at Classic and Shin, ordinarily you have to favor Classic. At the very least, you would say that the series would go to the ace match. That was not the case. Shin got a complete 4-0 sweep over Classic.
Yeah, this is very
Didn't play
impressive. And I do think let's go. That's why he won. Let's go. Oh my god. A very, very dominant result here by Shin to take down Classic 4-0. I do think that this coincides, though, with the kind of narrative that we've been portraying over the past month, over the past, like, 3 or 4 podcasts, is just how active Shin has been. And in that activity, it's not just that he's playing in all these online tournaments. Remember, it was in the Wardy TV October event where Shin defeated Max Pax. Remember, we were trying to have our predictions about who would face off against who would beat who, and we had like Clem winning the entire event. Max Pax was denied his rematch against Clem because of Shin. Shin defeated Max Pax. Shin has also been beating Clem in the Wardy TV Mondays, I think twice already in the past like 5 editions. He's beaten Clem. He's been beating Björn as well. I don't want to say that Shin, he's like, securing himself as like the best Zerg player in Korea after Dark, once Dark retires, but like Shin, he's just been on the grind. He's just been on the grind and getting those results.
What you're saying is that Solar has competition now.
He does. I did.
You're not saying that Shin's, gonna be the heir apparent to Dark, but you are saying that it's not so clear whether it's gonna be Shin or Solar now.
Yeah, and even Rogue rising up, right?
Yeah.
Like Rogue also getting some better and better results as well. So it's really interesting to see here just the rise of Shin. And also I want to emphasize as well that like I don't know how confident I want to be when it comes to Shin's rate of improvement, because Shin is also not very orthodox, right? Like he plays a very chaotic style. He's not very standard at all when it comes to his play.
Watch any game, any ZVP that he plays on Dynasty, and you'll get a sense of the kind of player that Shin is.
True. Even the series that he's beaten Clem in, it's usually like with some kind of wild all-in and trying to like mask a certain build and trying to, kind of pivot around and trying to lure Clem into, believing that something else is happening. Like there's a lot of mind games that come into play as well. So yeah, Shin, he's a very creative player. He's the genius. He's the mad scientist in Korea. And yeah, this is just this is a crazy result as well. Like I would have to agree with you. Like even with Shin beating Classic, I would assume like, maybe like 4-2, maybe 4-3, not 4-0. That's wild.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to see a lot more Shin as we get into our new patch, because I feel like in our new patch, a player as creative as Shin can really figure out some holes, can really figure out how to exploit things.
100%, right? Like that's always the case when it comes to both new patch and new map pool as well. Is that there are certain things that can be exploited, and the more creative players, they find those things out a lot faster than the others, and they're willing to to make use of that as well. So that's going to be an exciting thing coming into the new map pool when it comes to looking at players like Shin, players like Dark, players like Gumiho, these players that aren't necessarily standard in their approach.
Keep our eyes peeled for those.
Definitely, as we do head on over to the OSC Rising Star
Yep.
number 13. Now, this is an event that does take place over the course of, I think the last one took like a month to get through. Like it took a while for the last
Yep.
Rising Star event to conclude. So, yeah, we are slowly going to work through all the rounds and all the matches.
Slowly but surely, just as the OSC mid-season ended. You thought that OSC was gonna have a couple more, shorter weekender events or something like that? No, there must always be a month-long tournament for OSC, and this time, it's gonna be Elite Rising Star, which, as the name implies, is focused a lot more on some of the up-and-coming players as opposed to sort of more established names.
I should also emphasize, because we're not going to go over it, the OSC mid-season playoffs haven't concluded yet, but we don't have an update because they haven't played any matches this week. So it's still going on. It's still going on. Just no updates for you because the bracket has been stagnant this week. I'm sure they'll get back into those matches.
I was hoping it just concluded, and we just weren't going to talk about it.
No.
It's
still going strong.
We're done with it. We've spoken all that we had to speak about it. Yeah.
Next week. We'll get there. For now, though, we have the OSC Rising Star. This is a double elimination bracket, so the event is still ongoing, and there are no eliminated players. But there is a player that we took note of previously that we need to keep an eye on. Scandicane. If you look at the challenge bracket, not the Wikipedia bracket, but the challenge bracket has been progressing. Scandicane, he took down Baby Marine 2-0 and Hon Mono 2-1.
Very nicely done here from Scandicane. Already secures himself into that upper bracket quarterfinals where he'll be facing either Young Yakov or Hydra.
Oh yeah. Again, Scandicane is a German player that, has been getting these wild results over the past month, and is a very much so is a lesser known player. Doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, but he has been taking down these more established names. It's been very impressive to see his sudden rise to fame here, and we'll see if it continues. Hey, I feel like this tournament would be quite fitting for him if he were to win.
Yeah, he's a rising star.
True.
We'll see.
We shall see. Likewise, we also have Nickrat. He takes down Jomek 2-0. We have Art takes down Rostock. When it comes to other results here, Ordinary's playing. Let's go. Ordinary also competing.
Keep in mind, we have both arts in this tournament. We have Polish art and we have Russian art. So
true. We have both arts. We have Fiant, Mindel VK. So he's not just hosting tournaments. Mindel VK is still competing every now and then. Night Phoenix, UD Soldier, Jumi, Eve, Jumi versus Zeba. Let's go.
Whoa, the drama continues.
The drama. Oh my god. Finally. They will be playing. They will be competing. There's been a lot of drama between Jumi and Eva over the past, 2 weeks when it comes to their friendship and their bond that has been put to the test as of late. A
little bit of betrayal every now and then. Eba pursuing a couple of other 2v2 partners.
I see Eba. What drama? Oh, why are you trying to gaslight us? What do you mean? Yeah. Not playing with Jumi in all these other team league events, in these other 2v2s or Archon matches? How could you abandon your boy, Papi? Oh my god. I recommend tuning into last week's PondCast to find out the narrative that we've been weaving. Oh no.
Sit through all of that, all 4 hours.
Yes, I do recommend.
And also while you're there, consider dropping a sub and a like.
Oh no. When was he ever my boy? Oh my god. You're hurting him, Pop. You're hurting him. Esta Eva. So they're gonna be facing off in the early rounds.
I love this. This is part of the K drama where the knife just gets twisted.
It is. It's all part of the K drama. I don't even remember playing with 4G. True. Oh my god.
I feel like I would have remembered. Somebody playing if I had a teammate that was that not helpful.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It may have been a momentous day for Jumi, but Iba doesn't even remember you. He doesn't.
For
Oh my
Eva, it was
God.
merely Tuesday.
True. Also, shout out to Nalganzo in the chat for subscribing for 2 months in a row.
Oh,
Thank you so much for Twitch Prime. Thank you.
Appreciate it getting spooky up in here.
And Asheri as well while we're at it.
And
Asheri. For 21 months.
Miracle.
Yes. Thank you, Asheri. Thank you. Do appreciate it. We won't be casting. It'll be casted by, I believe, Just X Jordan. So Just Jordan is going to be covering the OSC Rising Star event. So do check that out. I believe he'll be covering that over in English, over in his own channel. So yeah, do look forward to it.
Keep our eye on those. Meanwhile, continuing on with our OSC event, OSC King of the Hill, a bit more of a regular event, a bit of a shorter, just one night event coming out here. Coming out every single week, and I feel like last week we kind of had a little bit, a slight narrative going on about players going on a bit of a win streak, and we do have Mana and Nightmare going on a bit of a streak here, but apart from them, okay, we also had Skilla. So I was gonna say we had a little bit more variation, but a little bit of Protoss dominance between
a little
Nightmare,
bit
Skillis, and Mana, but we also did have Demi beating 4Jumi. So look, I just wanted to say that Jumi's nightmare continues as he does get beat by Demi. He got Demi.
True. He did. He got muted, mate. It was a wild event, as you did mention. We actually did cast this on the CranKy Ducklings. This was the weekend of Epic Land, and if you remember, Wardy did travel to compete in Epic Land, so Wardy wasn't available. We stepped in Wardy's stead. This was the night of Protoss, but there was some banger matches here. I do recommend tuning into the VODs. Mana versus Demi was wild. Demi went mass muta, as you can imagine, and Demi, he was eviscerating the economy of Mana, who was poking in, killing mineral line after mineral line, dealing with the army as well. But Mana built up a death pool of Archon Storm, and I mean, you can tell how that works against Mass Muta. I mean, one wrong move and it could be over, but it was still a lot of fun regardless. Also, one of the highlights of the night was match 10, Iba versus Nightmare. That was one of the few late games.
And it went to the late game? Because I was going to say, you mentioned that Wardy was unavailable to cast because he went to Epic Land. I see Eba on here. He was also at Epic Land.
He was. The passion. Eba still did compete. And yeah, I mean, most of these games were either cheeses or lins, or they ended in the mid game. I think Eba versus Nightmare was one of, if not the only late game that we had, went the distance split map scenario on 2000 atmospheres of all maps, a very old map, and it was a very intense series as well. We were so close to potentially having a fellow Zerg player along Demi getting a win there that night, but alas, Nightmare did clutch it out in the end, and it was just a great night of StarCraft.
It was the night of Protoss. Other races were allowed one win, and so Demi got it at the very beginning, but everyone else, every other map, had to be won by the Mana, Nightmare, or Skillis.
There you go. Exactly. And Skillis also had some impressive results as well. We kind of glossed over it, but he actually defeated Björn. Like, he had some big names showing up here in this event. Despite that, Skillis, he was able to pop off as well.
I just realized that after match 5, Mana versus Shameless, Mana won that, but in match 6, it was Nightmare versus GG Machine?
Yeah, unfortunately, Mana was unavailable. Something came up. I don't know the details, but Mana wasn't able to continue his run. So technically, Mana went undefeated. Technically.
True.
Yeah.
He went undefeated. He was the king of the hill, but then he stepped away. And his regent was Nightmare. Until it was Skillis.
And did pass the torch over to another Protoss player. So again, impressive performances here by Nightmare, Skillis, Mana, and Demi. Again, do recommend it. This is a more unique format of best of one. King of the Hill winner stays on, loser is eliminated. So do consider checking it out. There really are rarely any other events that feature this kind of format anymore. It's very rare.
Which is why it's nice that we do have OSC King of the Hill on a pretty regular basis.
Oh, yeah. As with that is the end of the OSC events. Scrolling over, we have StarCraft Evolution League number 5. This was the second last bi-weekly event before the fall championship.
Yeah, so more important than ever to get those points in to qualify for that fall championship. This time, once again, going to be won by 3 point, but I do see Quanta making it to the finals.
Yo, this was wild. So, as you mentioned, 3 point, he is usually the favorite player to win it all. 3 point, he is a machine when it comes to grinding and competing in StarCraft Evolution League, so he's usually the one to beat. And coming into this tournament, I assumed it was going to be a ZVP between 3 point and Classic. Classic is last edition's champion, so there was a lot of hype behind that. I was getting ready for 3 point versus Classic. We casted Classic versus Boanan, and you can imagine what the hell happened there.
Can I?
Yeah, I mean, Boanan,
he plays on Guangali Beach and instead of Monty Hall, so
True. Boanan, he is a renowned cannon rusher. It's all he does, it's all he be, and he cannon rushed the hell out of Classic and took him out 2-0.
There you go. Both has Brood War.
Yeah.
I'm interpreting this correctly, so
Yeah.
Classic, you know. He was Terran during Brood War, so I guess he doesn't know how to respond to cannon rushes.
Yeah, I mean, but whether it's SC2 or Brood War Boanan, he's more than willing to embrace it. The Brood War Cannon Rush is also a little bit different as well. I believe the Brood War pylons are a little bit tankier as well, so they're a little bit more robust. So they can snowball out of control a little bit more quickly there as well. So congratulations to Boanan for knocking out Classic. I mean, it's been a rough week for Classic. We saw him lose to Shin. Yeah. He lost to Boanan as well. My heart goes out to him.
He needs to climb a mountain.
He does. He needs to find enlightenment with Creator and with Beyond. As Boanan does get the win. Meanwhile, Quanta was able to take down Hon Mono, took down Boanan as well, and he went all the way to the ace match against a 3 point. So really impressive stuff. If you recall, Quanta recently joined Streamer Zone, and we were curious what that would mean. Quanta has been streaming a lot recently on Twitch, and Quanta has even been able to improve quite a lot as a result in StarCraft Evolution.
We've rated him a couple of times.
Yeah, for sure. Have given him that raid. When it comes to the matches, as you can imagine, the highlights of the finals was the first 2 matches on Paradox and Monty Hall. Paradox is the island map. Monty Hall is, of course, a very unorthodox map as well, kind of pseudo island.
It's the mineral wall map.
Yeah, exactly. And Quanta was able to dominate both of those maps, both of those games. So really fun matches. Really fun matches.
He was playing Terran, so on an island map. So
yeah,
yeah.
True. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. So Quanta did take it. With that, again, there's only one more of these bi-weeklies before the full championship. So do try to get in while you can to try to get seeded and invited into the event without having to deal with the qualifiers.
Is that an instruction to me specifically?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. One more that's going to be taking place, I believe, next week. It's going to be that final one. And like you said, it's going to be the last chance before the qualifiers to make it to the fall championship.
For sure. As up next, we have the Sparkling Tuna Cup number 70. That is, of course, the beginning of the Open Cups for SC2. This was our event. And as a reminder, because of the timing of the event as well, some of our otherwise regulars weren't able to show up. Geralt was, of course, traveling to the UK. Eba, or I should also emphasize that some of the European players had a harder time signing up for this because of daylight savings, which was, of course, recently as well.
I thought they got rid of that.
Unfortunately,
I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, don't trigger the Europeans because we've been waiting for this for years and it still hasn't happened.
I'm not Europor. I'm not a farmer. I'm not from a place where there's any variation in the in daylight all year round. Although No, you know what? That's too off topic. And I gotta drag us off topic, or at least any more than we already have. We have some weird timings as well here. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a rant that's gonna take up too much time.
There's a lot of times. It's true. But that did affect some.
All I'm gonna say is that our noon is at 1 p.m. Here in Singapore.
Let's go.
Yeah. Facts.
Regardless, we did have, of course, shout out to the Europeans that did manage to sign up and compete in this event. We had Cristiano rocking up once again. Cristiano, of course, he is the tuner himself. Takes down Rostock, takes down Nickrak 2-0, and he took down Luna C. Coming into this tournament, I'll be honest, I assumed it was going to be Australia versus Cristiano in the finals, and a very special shout out to Australia because he was playing at 5 a.m. in the morning. It was very early in the Americas. This is not an NA-friendly time slot or time zone, so much love to Australia for competing in this tournament. But as you can see, he did choose to off-race.
Yeah, which... interesting. I would have said normally that, maybe he just doesn't want to play PvP, which, understandable. I don't think anybody really does. Especially if you're going to be playing against EU and Korean players. You're like, yes, I don't have to go back to that jungle that is NA PvP. But he did choose to play PvP versus Gref, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Australia, he does often off-race if he feels like he can get away with it. He does it very often, like in the ESL Americas Cups and some of these other open cups as well. So Australia can be cheeky like that, but sometimes he gets burned for it. Sometimes he gets punished for it, and Lunacy shows that, he is worthy. I mean, he took down Homono previously, so clearly he is in form, and yeah, an impressive win for Lunacy nonetheless.
Indeed.
But in the end, of course, Cristiano did take the win, so he claims another Sparkling Tuna Cup win under his belt. Very impressive, very well
16,
done.
16, 17?
Something like that, yeah.
Signs.
It's crazy. As that leads us into the Wardy TV Monday number 8. Was merely a couple of days ago, a big event here for the Korean region.
Yes.
And once again, this time at least, we could not stop the Clem versus MaxPax finals.
We could not stop, but we did start a little bit of a, shall we say, runner-up week for Clem.
Yeah, definitely, right? It's like, we spoke about this last week, how Clem has been looking much more dominant over MaxPax, and even in the weeks after, or even the weeks leading up to this, it does feel like Clem has been, taking down MaxPax more often than not. And we were curious how MaxPax would change, how he would adjust over time, and this, I feel like, might be the beginning here of the comeback. As I was really expecting Clem to take some more wins here, but MaxPax, he brought it back.
Yeah, he did. It was very close. Went all the way to the ace match in the grand finals. MaxPax getting here by, of course, beating Trigger, Australia, and Beyond. Clem himself didn't have an easy battle to the finals either, taking out Battle B, Gumiho, and Trap. But it's all said and done. MaxPax came out on top.
Yeah. I mean, it was a really intense series as well. Like, Clem did start off with a 2-1 lead. But fun fact, MaxPax, he stopped trying to be too fancy with these Stargate openers, with these Phoenixes. He kind of reverted to what he is known for, to what he does best. And both on Oceanborn and on Ghost River, MaxPax, he went 4-gate Blink Stalker. Just 4-gate Blink. Yes.
He reverted.
He aped it up, Bob. He aped it up. He went for these committed to ace plays, and he was able to overwhelm and overpower Clem with the execution of 4-gate Blink. So very impressive stuff there out of MaxPax. Again, just falling back on what he's been known for so long.
Yeah. All reliable. And that will start but that will start the end here for MaxPax and the MaxPax Clem rivalry as we move on to Kalaris Statfast Roddy Cup number 9, KFC number 9.
KFC.
And once again, we have a MaxPax Clem finals, except this time, I have to imagine that MaxPax aped it up even harder, because this time, it was not close.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to tune into this one, but very impressive stuff here out of MaxPax. 3-0 over Clem. This is his week. Like, again, MaxPax has been struggling recently against Clem, but this week he was on fire.
I guess we should point out that in I'm not sure about World Cup, but in KFC it was played on the PTR, so it was going to be in the new patch, which, according to Clem, is a step in the right direction, and so Protoss is a little bit stronger, but I mean, he also said that Terran still needs to be nerfed, so.
Yeah, Clem, he did mention that Protoss does need help in the new patch, and despite that, Max gets a 3-0. As you mentioned, the Water TV Monday was not on the new patch; it was on the current patch and the current map pool. The Kalaris Steadfast Roddy Cup was on the new patch and the new map pool, which might factor into some of these results. That is true. I was, of course, asleep, so I wasn't able to watch these matches, but if anyone has some insight on what occurred in the series, I'd be very curious. A lot of people assume that Protoss are going to be a little bit weaker in the new patch because of the removal of the battery overcharge, but a lot of people have also been praising the energy overcharge for giving Protoss players a lot more flexibility in how they do defend and how they do use it as well. So I'm really curious to see how MaxFax was able to make use of that energy overcharge.
Yeah, just play like MaxFax.
True. There you go. Just to play like MaxFax, as he has a dominant showing in the KFC. Meanwhile, scrolling on over, we do have the Pigosaur Monday number 4. This was also played on the PTR, also played on the new map pool.
Yep. And once again, not a great Monday and Tuesday for Clem, or I guess it was just Monday from Clem's perspective. Not a great day for him, as once again he does make it all the way to the finals, but does get beaten or defeated by Beyond this time.
Yeah, this was a very short finals. This was like 15. Yeah. This is like 10
I actually was able to tune into this.
Yeah. There was a lot of cheese, there was a lot of proxy, a lot of all-ins, and just some chaotic play, just a hyper-aggressive TBT between Clem and Bjorn. Bjorn did take it in the end. You could argue, maybe Clem is sleep-deprived, but so is Bjorn. Both Clem and Bjorn, they both stayed up for all 3 tournaments.
Here's the thing, though. Clem and Bjorn, both sleep-deprived, but I feel like Clem only adopted sleep deprivation. Bjorn has been an animal for years at this point. He's been a DGen for years at this point. He's Clem. He may wake up late. He may sleep in, but Bjorn, he's just full on night owl.
True. What you're saying is that Bjorn is the real deal and Clem is merely an imitation. Oh my god. When it comes to playing late in the night, I mean, as you mentioned, they both played in every single weekly.
And even past the sunrise.
Bjorn did take it in the end, so a very impressive result there by Bjorn. But as I mentioned, it was just a very, very intense best of 5 and very short best of 5 as well. Something that we kind of glossed over, but I do want to bring up here is a rivalry that we have been noticing over the past almost 2 months at this point is Bjorn versus Shin. And we have seen Shin get the better of Bjorn more recently, but specifically this week, similar to how MaxFax defeated Clem 2 tournaments in a row, Bjorn has also defeated Shin 2 tournaments in a row in the Water TV Monday and in the Pigosaur Cup as well.
Yeah. I do feel like they are the 2, I would say, most reliable Korean players when it comes to signing up for the Open tournament. So, yeah, it does feel kind of inevitable that we end up seeing them face against each other quite often. I say the most reliable. What I mean is they're the 2 most degen when it comes to their sleep schedules.
Yeah, 100%. So. Yeah, they play in everything, and they go back and forth. Specifically this week, Bjorn takes down Shin twice in 2 best of 3, so much more impressive result here by Bjorn. Likewise for MaxFax as well. They both did perform that much better this week, but bearing in mind as well that part of that is also on the new patch as well, the new map pool specifically. And I do think the maps do dictate a lot of the current play styles. Some of them are more turtle heavy, some of them, a few of them are a little bit more open, some of them are unorthodox, like the new Golden Wall, for example, in El Dorado. So there's just a lot of things to consider, a lot of factors in play in these PTR events.
And yeah, once again, it's really where a player who is a little bit quicker when it comes to studying the new maps and figuring out what they can really exploit, or rather, I should say, how they should adjust their playstyle, who ends up really getting rewarded. And in this week, it was Bjorn.
Yeah, there you go.
Or
There
rather,
you
this
go.
time, it was Bjorn.
And speaking of this week, and speaking of the PTR, we have the Wardy TV PTR tournament. The Wardy TV Monday was on the old patch, but Wardy has dedicated a specific event for the new patch. It is going to be a multi-day event. We have the group stage. The first group was yesterday. The second group is going to be tomorrow, and then the playoffs are going to be over the weekend as well.
Yeah. Which I feel like this happens a lot when we're talking about upcoming Wardy tournaments. We can make some predictions, potentially.
We can predict it up. First things first, though, Group A has concluded. It ends with Clem coming out on top, despite having a rough week, despite losing to MaxPax twice, despite losing to Bjorn in the finals. In the PTR group stage of this tournament, Clem goes undefeated 4-0.
There we go. Did end up dropping one map to, let's take a look here, to Solar, but still won that series in the end, and will be waiting in the semifinals for either a rematch with Solar or potentially one of the other players from Group B.
Oh, yeah. We also have the other results, of course. Showtime comes out in second place. Showtime also having a good showing, taking out Mana, Ryung, and Solar as well. So it does come out in second, only dropping to Clem. Meanwhile, Solar, he does barely clutch it out as top 3, did make it out of the group stage. Solar having a bit of a harder time, did drop his series to both Clem and Showtime. Solar, he has been a little bit more active as of late. He was even playing in the previous KSRC, but is still trying to find his footing, it looks to be, in this new patch. And yeah, I mean, I do think there's going to be an adjustment period for a lot of these players to still make it through, and he still has some time to prepare and get ready for those playoffs.
Yeah, it's one of the advantages of being in one of the earlier groups, especially in a tournament like this, where you're going to be playing on a new patch. Gives you a little bit more time to get yourself situated and just really figure things out without having to worry about an upcoming match that you have to play.
Yeah, like figure out your vetoes, figure out your builds, your openers. Remember, like, especially for ZVP and Zerg openers, the hatchery is a little bit cheaper, the queens are a little bit more expensive. That does actually affect build orders, so I know that a lot of Zerg players still have to adjust to that as well when it comes to the overall opener. So yeah, that is something that Solo has to bear in mind. Meanwhile, Mana and Ryung did not make it out of the group. They were both eliminated here, having a bit of a harder time in this insane group.
Oh yeah. Can't really hold it against them, as, like you said, it was a pretty tough group to begin with. Any group that features Clem, I think, and recently Showtime as well, I would say. Showtime really been improving a lot, especially in the lead up to Home Story Cup.
For sure. Showtime, definitely one to keep an eye on, leading to Home Story Cup. Meanwhile, Group B, we have 5 players. We have 2 Zergs in Shin and Rex. We have 2 Protoss in Max, Pax, and Trap. And we have 1 Terran in Beyond.
Indeed. Who's gonna make it out?
Yaku, what do you got for us? 3 players make it out of the group, 2 don't. What are your predictions?
So before I predict who makes it out of the group, I gotta say Rex. I think not super likely to make it out, but I feel like Rex will cause a major upset and will prevent one of our favorite players from making it through, just barely.
Oh, okay.
It's possible that Rex beats any one of them, really. I feel like the obvious choices here would be Shin, Max Pax, and Bjorn. I mean, they've had quite a lot of success in the past week, and have pretty much proven themselves to be some of the more adaptable players who have started to situate themselves a lot quicker to new patch. But I don't know. I feel like Rex might be able to cause a bit of an upset there. Might prevent one of those 3 from making it into the playoffs, and hey, maybe Rex will sneak in himself.
I agree. Yeah, I think that Rex is I think he's a player that can stop someone from advancing. That's who he is. Like he's kind of the gatekeeper in that sense. I feel like it was like a month ago where Rex.
Patience.
Yeah. I think it was like a month ago where Rex, he actually defeated MaxPax in a best of 3 and knocked him out of an online tournament. It was the Wadi TV. I think it was the Wadi TV Monday. But that was like a month ago at this point, or maybe 4 weeks ago. So Rex, he has it in him to defeat MaxPax. We've seen Rex defeat Dark. That was also around 3 weeks ago at this point, also in an online tournament in a best of 3. So hey, if Rex can beat Dark, if he can beat MaxPax, then Shin would also be vulnerable to him. Trap would also be vulnerable to him as well. If you haven't seen Rex play, he is very methodical in his builds. I'm not saying he's standard, but he has a lot of cheese. He has a lot of cheese up his sleeve, and he is very specific with what build he goes for on what map, and he can trip you up. He can trip anyone. I mean, if he can defeat MaxPax, he can defeat any Protoss player out there. So I do think that Rex, he can be a bit of a sniper.
If he can defeat MaxPax, he can defeat MaxPax again.
Yeah. True. You're not wrong. That's just accurate. if he can defeat MaxPax, he can defeat MaxPax.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. It's profound.
Yeah, I'm definitely I was gonna say I'm definitely rooting for Rex here in this group, but it's a tough battle, and my brain is telling me that Rex won't make it out, but my heart really wants to root for him here.
Yeah, for sure. I would have to agree. As you mentioned, I do think that MaxPax, Shin, and Bjorn are favored to make it out. Despite saying that, Trap definitely has it in him to make it through as well. There is another X factor, of course, the fact that this is on the PTR and on the new map, so that's also like another thing to consider. You know, how much time and effort have these players been putting into the PTR to compete and get ready for this tournament? That's going to be another factor. But I think I'd have to go with my head a little bit here and say MaxPax, Shin, and Bjorn. I think I would say maybe MaxPax is number 1, Bjorn 2, and Shin 3. Maybe. We just went over the results, and Bjorn has been beating Shin recently, and these have been over the past couple of days. So I think I might lean a little bit more heavily to Bjorn today. But next week maybe more towards Shin.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree on that. I think I would actually swap Shin and Bjorn. But like you said, I would say I would swap Shin and Bjorn just because. Hey, that 4-0 versus Classic was really impressive to me, and I really do think that a new patch like this is where players like Shin really thrive. But as you pointed out, recent scores between Shin and Bjorn, if it does come down to a head-to-head, because I really do think that Shin and Bjorn are pretty closely matched, so I would imagine that both of them would have a similar map score. But if it's going to come down to the head-to-head, just based on recent results, you got to give it to Bjorn.
Yeah, and to give credit to Shin as well, and to you, it's even though Bjorn did defeat Shin twice this week, did go to the ace match, right? Did go to the ace match both times. Like, it was still very close between them as well. So they are very, very close in skill, as you mentioned. Trap is another one that I don't want to gloss over him too much. Like, Trap is also an amazing player. Trap became second in the Wardy TV Festival not too long ago as well. Like, Trap has also been looking really good.
Man.
True. he was like Trap, he has also been looking very impressive, but I think we're leaning more towards Shin and Bjorn just because we've seen more of them recently, right? They've been getting like these slightly more impressive results over the past couple of weeks. We were seeing a little bit less of Trap over the past couple of weeks, but regardless, I do think it's going to be close between all of them, and wish them all the best of luck as the group is going to be taking place tomorrow.
Wish them best of luck in the playoffs beyond that as well.
Oh yeah, the playoffs are going to be over the weekend. It might be too early to do a prediction there, but okay, a bit of a more general question. Yaku, do you think Clem doesn't win the tournament? That's my question to you for the playoffs. Do you think some of these guys...
Okay, I'll answer your question, and then I'll ask your question.
Okay.
And then I'll ask a question of my own.
Okay.
Is Clem going to not win this tournament? I'm gonna say no. I think Clem... Monday was a little bit of a rough day for him, but time has passed. I think he's become a little bit more situated to the new patch, the PTR. I mean, he's played enough to actually have some thoughts about it now. So I think Clem is... I don't want to say he's a shoo-in, but I think Clem will end up taking this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What's your question?
Will we have yet another Clem Max Packs Grand Finals?
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna have to agree with you, and I would love to see a Clem Max Packs Finals rematch. And as we've just gone over this past week, or even these past couple of days, Max Packs defeated Clem twice in finals, right? He defeated him in What Used to Be Monday. He defeated him in the KSRC 3-0 as well. Max Packs has been getting the better of Clem over the past couple of days, which is why I think Clem is going to get his revenge here in the finals. I think Clem, he's a little bit angry. He's going to be upset. I do think that Clem will get his revenge. I do think that he will defeat Max Packs if they do have a rematch in the finals, but we'll see. Like, I feel like the 4-0 in the group stage is also a little bit indicative of the form of Clem right now. Like, it's like he's, despite losing to Max Packs earlier, like he's still very much so like a dominant force. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
Indeed, we shall. It's going to be taking place. Well, Group B is going to be taking place tomorrow, and then the playoffs is going to be taking place over the weekend. There
you go. So that is going to be the conclusion of going over all these tournaments. But very quickly, I did also want to bring up a post by Mana on Twitter, and I would have to agree with it. It is really cool that Mana brought it to everyone's attention as well. He recently posted that this patch might be one of the most successful PTRs in StarCraft history, specifically referring to just how much testing is being done on the patch. For whatever reason in the past, maybe there just weren't as many tournament organizers, or maybe it just wasn't as appealing. But in the past, we would have like Wardy organizing a PTR tournament, but not much more than that.
You know what it is? I genuinely feel like it's a big part of it is because we're in the off season for the PTR. So not only do we have more organizers, like you said, but also players are more willing to play in those PTR tournaments and to test things out because, hey, they don't have to refine their skills so much because of an upcoming tournament that's going to be in the current patch.
True, right? Like, what's the upcoming tournament? Home Story Cup, and there's a high likelihood that that's going to be on the next patch, right? So, as you mentioned, there's no big event that's kind of drawing away people's attention to the current patch, that they're more looking forward. And I do think that what you said is also correct in a different way, where you're like, part of it's the off season. I would say that part of it is the fact that ESL aren't organizing the Open Cups at the moment. The community is. So because of that, I mean, I should also say this, Sparkling Tuna Cup and Tenacious Turtle Tussle, they're also going to be on the PTR, right? We have the KSRC on the PTR. I believe the KSL this weekend might be on the PTR as well. Like, we're more willing to do that, whereas whenever there was a PTR and whenever ESL were organizing it, they would not, right? They would keep the ESL Open Cups on the current patch, not on the PTR.
Yeah. Really, I feel like this mana post or this mana tweet really kind of inadvertently kind of highlights the strengths of having a very strong grassroots scene.
Yeah, because in a way, we're more willing to make that change and to adjust. Like, I understand the rationale behind not doing that. You know, it does mean that sign-ups would be a little bit lower because there are some people that are less willing to download the PTR or even know how to download the PTR when it comes to more amateur players. So that does impact some sign-ups.
I accidentally uninstalled.
Oh no. I like this. But there's definitely reasoning not to do it, but I feel like a lot of the organizers, a lot of us are all in unison, understanding that it is important that we get as much testing done as possible. And, you know, why not host all of our tournaments on the PTR? It'll just like benefit the scene ideally overall.
Yeah. In the long term, it'll benefit the scene very much so in the long term. As we always want to point out, the PTR is the testing phase. This is the time to fiddle around and to figure things out, and to also provide feedback, and to provide appropriate feedback. So, yeah, the fact that there wasn't this much participation, this much feedback in the past was a lot of it was due to circumstance, but also was very unfortunate. So, yeah, now that the circumstances allow for a lot more testing and a lot more players to figure things out, it's Well, it's good.
Yeah, and I hope this also, I mean, again, I would assume this is going to be more successful as a result, but I would hope that in the future, I'm referring to when the on-season begins and when and if EPT host Open Cups again, hope they are more receptive to that as well. And the next time there is a PTR, the next time there is another patch, they're willing to also use their own Open Cups as a bit of a staging ground for that, to allow for that and to again provide more testing and more data overall on the proposed changes.
It's all important. The more feedback is received, then the more the balance council can and the designers can really get a sense of what changes are needed.
Yeah, what's needed, what isn't, what's too good, what's not good enough. All good things here when it comes to just hosting more tournaments. And with that, I guess we can go over the upcoming events of the week. I already did just mention it, but this week, when it comes to our tournaments, Sparkling Tuna Cup and Tenacious Total Tussle that are coming up next week will be on the PTR.
Yes. Sparkling Tuna Cup going to be on Sunday, and Tenacious Turtle Tussle going to be coming up on for the end of the week.
Uh-huh.
It's Wednesday for the Americas and Thursday for the rest of the world.
There you
go. But yes, we will have those two events. Likewise, other upcoming events are KSL. That is going to be in just over 24 hours. So we have the Korean StarCraft League over the weekend. We have the first qualifier for SEL over the weekend as well. We will also be casting that qualifier. Bear that in mind. That's also going to be on our calendar. Sparkling Tuna Cup, the Picos on Mondays. And in less than a week, the return of Alima League.
Hell yeah. This is going to be on 5th, so that's Tuesday. I feel like we got to sign up for this.
I would love to sign up if we weren't...
Yeah,
if we weren't casting. I'm fine saying it here. We are going to be casting Alima League, not on the CranKy Ducklings here on Twitch, but we are going to be casting it over on the sponsored platform on Chizik. Chizik. Yes.
Not to be confused with Chuseok.
No, that is something else. You're not wrong. So on the one hand, we're going to be covering it. On the other hand, I know that it is very frustrating that you'd have to go to another platform to watch it. It was similar with the Africa events, if you remember. We'd also cover and cast the Africa tournaments on Africa.
I would also like to mention that because Chizik doesn't work very well in Europe, I have tested it before and it does work fine if you watch through a VPN. So it may be some kind of routing issue. So if you are dedicated to watch that from Europe, you can use a VPN for that.
Otherwise, wait for our VOD on youtube.com/cranky_ducklings. I don't think that's actually our URL.
That's
our URL.
There you go.
CranKy Ducklings on YouTube. That's where the VOD will be.
Exactly.
Quite access Chuseok. No, not Chuseok.
Yes. Sure. As you mentioned, recently we have been co-streaming. Like, we stream on Twitch and on YouTube as well. We're live on both platforms. But for this event, because it is specifically sponsored and the prize money is brought forward by Chizik, then we will not be dual streaming. So we'll only be streaming live to the Chizik platform. But as you mentioned, the VODs will be available on YouTube. So if you wish, you could just wait for the VODs, or you can hop on over to the Chizik channel and watch live.
Yeah. If it works.
There
so it
you
can
go.
be a bit 50-50.
Yeah, if you don't have a VPN and if you're in Europe, then it could be a little bit difficult. I was testing, and from Australia, it's fine, but it could just be because we're closer, right? Like Australia and Southeast Asia, just the routing to the Korean platform might just be a little bit easier for us. So it might just be depending on where you are in the world.
Easier, or even if it's not easier, then maybe it's not even that big of it's not as big of a deal because, like you said, we're closer, so that routing is not as bad. The effects of that routing aren't as strongly felt, is how I should phrase that.
For sure, for sure. So do consider checking it out. When it comes to Elite League, I don't think it's gonna be on the PTR. I'll have to double check, but at least checking the challenge page, it looks like it's gonna be on the current patch and the current map pool. When it comes to future Elite Leagues, we'll wait and see. Wait and see.
Yep.
They might be tempted to do it on the PTR just for testing purposes. It'll come down to, of course, Crank and those working behind the scenes.
Yes. Which is
Yes.
allows.
For sure, for sure. So it will definitely be a part of that, which does feel really good as well. Like we started, competing in the Elite League way back when. We came from Crank's community, and it does feel Elite League. It's hand in hand with Crank, of course. So it's an honor to be a part of it. Yeah, it feels good.
It's full circle.
It is full circle. Feels good working with Crank and Ollie again.
Yeah.
For sure. So we'll be covering that. Otherwise, I think we're going to be wrapping up here for the week. I think that's everything. A bit of a shorter podcast this time.
Well, at least compared to last week.
Yeah,
Which is fitting because you know what? It's now Halloween night.
True.
Went down here.
There you go. So if you're out there, if you celebrate Halloween, and even if you don't, hope you have a great night. Hope you enjoy yourselves. I think
Happy Diwali
Yaku.
as well for the Hindi viewers out there.
There you go. There you go.
So I found out this morning that it actually coincides this year.
There you go. There you go. I was gonna say, Yaku, what are your plans? What are your plans for Halloween night?
I have some movies lined up. One really bad. One potentially pretty good. It's been getting good reviews. And one that I've already seen, but if I have enough time and I'm not sleepy, I'll watch it again.
Yeah. It's not a bad time to tune into and watch some horror movies. Definitely. I was tempted to maybe try to stream some Final Fantasy tonight, but within theme of Halloween, might tune in and might watch some scary movies.
Stream
some horror movies.
Alien Isolation.
Oh, true. There you go. There's like a sequel coming out, right? Am I crazy?
I think
Is it
so.
not?
We have to see if you can get if you can progress further than Milk did.
he started the game and he just noped out. He's like, nope. I am not touching this. That's great. Good times. I mean, speaking of Alien Isolation, that was some of the best times watching Crank as well. Remember?
True.
Like Crank, he also streamed
Back in
that game.
2016, something like that.
Good times. That was also
Crank
the
and Ollie
infamous
scared
clip.
him
Yes, that was the infamous clip when Ollie snuck up on him and just scared the crap out of him. That was beautiful.
She almost gave him a heart attack.
Good times. Beautiful. So yeah, enjoy yourselves, and of course we'll be back next week with some more podcasts to keep you guys updated on everything going on in the world of StarCraft. If we missed something, if you want us to talk about something, then let us know. Join our Discord server, message us, let us know what we did miss, what we should talk about, as we do wrap up the news of the week. Otherwise, we're done for today. Done for the week.
We did it.
There you go.
That episode in the bag.
There you go. Yeah, if people want to find more of you, do you plan on streaming anytime soon? If not, where can they find you anyway?
Up in the club. Or however that Sopranos memes goes. But I don't think I'm going to be streaming anytime soon. But in case I do, twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1, twitter.com @EmperorYakuzaku, also on Blue Sky now @Yakuzaku. I also don't post anymore, but ! Discord is also where you can find myself. Funnily enough, I feel like I'm the most I feel like Discord is where I'm most active at nowadays. But that's where you can find me. That will bring you to the CranKy Ducklings Discord server. It's also where you can find Light, where you can find Kuro, where you can find everyone in our CranKy community.
There you go.
What about
there you go.
What about you, Light, as well as the spectral ghost that it's duck ghost that haunts you?
You can find me at Light_VIP on Twitch. I do stream throughout the week. I stream whenever I can. Yesterday I had a ladder session, been streaming some Final Fantasy as well. I did have a bit of a smurge moment this week, though. I ended up buying for my birthday Final Fantasy 16 to play on stream, but my PC is not powerful enough, apparently. The game was crashing constantly and it was barely running as well. So unfortunately, I won't be able to play. But it might also motivate me to maybe upgrade my PC. I mean, the PC was solid. It was quite expensive when I first built it, but I built it back in 2016. So it's been 8 years. It might be time for an upgrade, at least to play some of these more modern games.
Final Fantasy. I mean, I don't know what the requirements of Final Fantasy 16 are.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty high fidelity, visually.
If it was high end, if it was a high end PC in 2016, I have to imagine you can still probably do medium settings or something.
I was playing on low.
Jesus.
It could not run. Yeah.
But it was on stream, right? Like you haven't tested off stream, or have you?
Yeah. So we'll most likely have to upgrade, unfortunately. Despite it's that my PC has done very well over the past 8 years, but might be time. Smurge. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, thankfully, I think like Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales are coming up, leading into December. So now would be the time to do something like that. I would suppose cheaper than otherwise. Fingers crossed. So yeah, it's gonna be potentially something on the horizon for me. But yeah, I do stream throughout the week over on my personal channel whenever I can. Just some ladder sessions, maybe some Final Fantasy 14 or some other games. Otherwise, we do casts here on the CranKy Ducklings. Our next cast should be in a couple of days. Over the weekend, we're gonna be covering the Korean StarCraft League, the KSL, into Sea Duckling Open, into the StarCraft Evolution League qualifiers, with STC and many other events as well. So it's going to be a very, very busy weekend for the CranKy Ducklings.
Yeah. And with that, we'll have to see you there, dear viewers. But if not, I think that wraps us up.
Yeah, that does wrap us up. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week for the next edition of the PondCast, or we'll see you guys in 2 days with the KSL, SDO, and SEL on Saturday. 3 casts.
A lot going on. I feel like I have to show the variations of, of the outfit.
Yeah, you do. I like it. It's good. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys next time. Ciao.
Bella.